Oh my god. Oh my god, you people are fucking stupid. Okay, just to let you all know. Recently, Nintendo and a bunch of other sources have now opened up with what the Nintendo X NX is going to have. I have to admit, I was a little stupid on this too because I thought it was going to be a replacement for the Wii U, and it's not. And everybody, and I mean everybody, all believed that it was going to be a brand new console, that it was going to beat the PS4 in all specs, and that it was going to be game over, and we were going to have nothing but consoles coming out in nothing like like cell phones, and that's how it's going to be. So shut up and take it like a man. And of course, now we got the Scorpio and the Neo coming out, which Nintendo isn't real worried about apparently, or even give a shit, because they're taking the right advice here. They're going to just take the hit on the Wii U, wait until the more proper coming out of next gen consoles, and then not just come up with a whole new generation of consoles like a cell phone, because it's entirely stupid. I mean, people are already spending a shit ton of money on cell phone upgrades. Console upgrades just going to accelerate that payment to unbelievable amounts. And what's even more funnier is that it turned out that Dr. Dre, the guy that everybody hates and calls a complete idiot and said that that's not what the NX is going to be, was right. And what happened was that you based this information because Black Bond beat Dr. Dre in some multiplayer game, and then you all said right there, this is what the NX is going to be. It's going to be the next console. It's going to come. It's going to come. It's going to replace the Wii U and all this other shit. And then it's going to be more powerful than PS4 and Xbox One because that's what consoles are going to be about, power and power only, because that's the way it's always been, because Black Bond beat Dr. Dre and that's how history went now, even though that's not how actual console history went. Even I knew that's not how consoles history went. The smart people, including myself sometimes, said that Nintendo would be stupid to release a brand new console to replace their Wii U right then and there. It would devastate Nintendo. I mean, releasing a brand new consoles after only the this next gen has really started like what 3 years ago is insane. That would mean that every year there would be a brand new console. And the reason why these companies are holding back, and now Sony and Xbox One are holding back on their Scorpio and their NX and their Neo, especially Sony, was because the Steam box failed. It didn't make quite big splashes they were hoping it for to be. It flopped. And it didn't make a big enough dent in the gaming community for anyone to give a shit. Because there were too many fucking Steam boxes out there. And you got morons like Review Tech USA holding up this like the $10,000 Steam box and say, well, you got to take a price cut on this, and that way you could win the console war because this thing's more powerful than the PS4. It's not power, dumbass, that beats the consoles. The reason why the PS4 won was because it's easy to use, simple to control, and they didn't shove DRM up down everybody's fucking throat. But because Black Bond beat Dr. Dre in a multiplayer contest, well, now we gotta change history and say that it's all about power, and it's always been about power. And the PlayStation, and the Play, and the PlayStation won because it was the more powerful console than the GameCube. Does that make any fucking sense? Even though the GameCube had a bizarre controller which a lot of people couldn't use, and they all went with the PlayStation console. Well, actually, it was the N64. But yeah, the N64 had a controller that nobody liked. And when they switched to the GameCube controller, a lot of people liked it a lot, but it was still funky as hell and still hard to control. Even though you could take the GameCube and beat a man to death literally with that damn thing and then plug it into your TV and it would still work. I'm not joking. You could do that. It's just that the PlayStation had more finite and easier controllers. Then the PlayStation 3 came out, which was just bad technology all the way around and slow, clunky, hard to use. And of course, there was no Rumble Pack that came when it first came out, and that had to come out later. And of course, if you check Sony, the PlayStation 3 barely, only started becoming a top seller near the end of its console life. While the 360, which was an easier to use controller console, and just easier to maintain, easy to control, easy to operate, won the console war. It's always been about what is easier for the customer to use, not about the power. We don't see people just whipping out their dicks and jerking off at what has the most power. The reason why console sales are down right now is mainly because people don't know what the hell these companies are doing anymore. You had the NX announced, you had the Neo announced, and the fucking Scorpion announced, and they were all supposed to be replacements. But now the NX is not a replacement for the Wii U, which shouldn't have been in the first place. And you got the Neo being pushed back further and further because, you know, Sony's realizing that it's probably not a great idea. And then you got the Scorpion, which I don't even know what the fuck Microsoft is doing. But this is going to be a final lesson to everybody out there. If you hate a YouTuber and this more popular YouTuber beats him in a bunch of multiplayers, and then you use that as your facts, don't ever do stupid shit like that. Why not take a look at who did the most research? And apparently it was Dr. Dre, because beating people in multiplayer doesn't make you a fucking news reporter at all. See ya.